This is a video I have been thinking about making maybe for a month or a month and a half, and something I don't know exactly how to address. So I'm gonna just talk about it. All right, it's gonna be a little bit of a story, a little bit of a rant, and it's not. I don't think it's negative. Okay, a lot of people get triggered. Maybe it's just me. I get triggered when people talk about personal, heavy stories, and this is not that. Okay, hopefully it's not that. So something happened back in April, and I did a video, but it was only for our members only, and that was not a positive thing. What I didn't talk about that happened in April is what happened in March before that. In March, I got an email from a regulator, and they said that you can't talk about money no more, especially you can't talk about investments. And they said you are not licensed, and you can't talk about investing, you can't do anything and charge money for it. So no speaking engagements, no courses, none of that. Now, to me, that is wrong, strange, and completely outlandish. Okay, the reason why is because there are people, I'm not gonna say I'm well connected, but I know a lot of people in this. I've been doing this for 15 years. Okay, you guys know that I've always said this, right? I am a former financial advisor, and I let go of my license. I did a whole video about why I let go of my licenses, and I did so for a reason, and that is because when you have those licenses, depending on where you work, whether you're independent or whatever, there are a lot of rules attached to it, and really processes. Like if I have to do a video like this, you have to send it off to somebody, have to watch it, and then decide whether or not you have to cut things out. And by the time you do that, the video's old and it's not relevant anymore. Or you make a comment on my video, and then I have to comment back, and that has to go through a whole review process. There were some points where if I posted something and you liked it, you just press like, then I get in trouble for it. That's how strict some companies are about posting on social media. That is how I was like, look, I don't want none of that. How about I just let it go and I say what I want to say, how I want to say it. That was the main purpose of me letting go of those licenses. For me, I had the Series 7, 66. Those expire 2 years from inactivity, meaning you're not working for a firm. So the last time I was in a desk, like in the office, was 2018. They expired in 2020. I let them go on purpose. I was like, hey, I'm free. I can do what I want. And that's when things really started to ramp up, especially on YouTube and other places, for a reason. Okay, so in either case, once they told me that, I was like, that's strange, because CNBC, which you do have to pay for because you buy cable, they get to do all that stuff, and they get to, Jim Cramer, all of them, they get to do all that, and that's fine. All my friends on Instagram, right, that I know and that I trust, the ones that I know and trust, they get to do courses, they get to speak at conferences, they get to charge whatever. Nobody's come after them, but they come after me. I don't know why. Okay? However, once they said that, I'm like, look, I don't have time to fight City Hall, right? I did speak to an attorney that was charging a lot. But at the time, I was like, hey, I got a 9 to 5. I'll start to figure that out in the background, but like, let me go and do something else while we kind of figure that out. The key word though is, I had a 9 to 5 at that point in time. I was laid off like 30 days later into trying to figure out the whole regulator situation. So I'm taking my daughter to school. I'm driving back. I don't normally have a ton of meetings on Fridays rather. And all of a sudden, I get home, I see a meeting, and it's like 10 or 15 minutes. I'm like, this meeting isn't normally here. Why is the meeting only 15 minutes? So I instantly open the invite and see who's here, because something just does not feel right. I see somebody I don't normally talk to. It's like 2 levels up, not my normal, manager. Again, 2 levels up, and then somebody from HR. I instantly know what's about to go down. Now, ironically, and you can go back and check these videos, I've been saying what? This entire time. This was back when Doge was laying off government employees. I said, what happens if these layoffs start to spread? I said back then, stay ready so you ain't got to get ready. Save extra cash. If you go back to my January workshop, before they told me I couldn't do workshops no more, now you wonder why I'm doing them no more, right? Before that, I was like, hey, have extra cash in case something happens. I had been preparing just in case. I didn't anticipate it was going to happen to me, but hey, stay ready so you don't get to get ready. So in either case, they let your boy go. Even though I had gotten a raise like in January or February. So that was really, I don't know why you would give me a raise and let me go. Whatever. And then they also posted the job like, 2-3 weeks later. I don't know what was happening, why they did it, whatever. So after the layoff, we now have a decision. Try and go back into the job market, which we know has gotten a whole lot worse today than what I knew at that time, or see this as an opportunity. See it as an opportunity, because now, one of the reasons why I haven't, gone back and got my license, because now if you think about it, in 2025, the market for becoming a financial advisor and really getting your license, certification, all that kind of stuff is different than what it was back in 2016, 2017, 2018. Right? You can become independent, which really wasn't the case back then. Now, because of those two events, you got two options, right? Jump into the job market, which is, I don't know about you, terrible right now. I don't know if you've seen the news, but the job market is terrible at this moment, and there are a lot of factors as to why, and that's a whole video in and of itself. I did do a short about that, or a reel on Instagram about why that's the case. And then the other option is to see this as an opportunity, because now, for the first time in years, I got time to study. I've not had time to sit down and have hours and hours to sit down for any exam. And one of the reasons why I haven't sat down and taken a test, one, I don't like taking tests. I have test anxiety. At least I tell myself I do. But in any case, I haven't had time to do it. I got kids I got to take from here and there and all kind of stuff. I got videos to shoot and all kind of stuff. And then I had a 9-to-5, but now that I don't, I got 9 to 5 to dedicate to taking an exam. So what if I just sat down for a few months, pass the test, and go back so I can do courses, do this, and maybe at some point take clients. So people watching this video or people that see me outside say, hey, look, I really need help with managing my 401k. Can you help? My answer's always been, hey, you should probably do X, Y, and Z. I don't know. And just kind of walk off, because I couldn't do anything, right? I didn't have no license. I didn't have no software. There was nothing I could really do. Well, if I had a license, I could. I could say, yeah, sure. Meet with me on Monday. You can be my next client, so on and so forth. I actually be helpful to people, which has always been like a calling for me. I always want to help people. I want to be transparent and honest with people. So that was my choice. And yesterday, today's the 16th, so yesterday was the 15th, took the 65, I passed it. So we back in the game now. Now officially, I think it gets passed, it has to go through processing, whatever, noon on the 30th day. At least that's I'm gonna test questions on the exam or something like that. So I can't take clients and all kind of stuff today, nor do I plan to at this moment in time. It's a lot of stuff that has to happen. I don't have no company to work with, nor have I set up my own just yet for the advisory side of things. But that is that is a path that can be taken, and that could be one way that we do take moving forward. What does that mean for you? Number one, content wise, I don't plan for this to change. I enjoy doing this. This keeps me sane. This has kept me sane this entire time. Been doing this. I've been doing this for 15 years. It'll be 15 years on 24th of September, which is crazy. But doing YouTube in general keeps me sane, keeps things regular, and just lets me know what day it is. So what does that mean for you? Content wise, nothing really is going to change. I intend on still doing shorts. I intend on still doing at least 3 days a week. That's going to stay the same. Down the line, it could be, several months. It could be 2026. I don't really have a timeline for you just yet. Should you decide to say, hey, look, I like what you're saying on TV. I like what you're saying on YouTube or something like that. I want to work with you one-on-one. That could be an option. I'm not sure what that's going to look like yet. We'll see. When it happens, I'll let you know. And then if we want to do more workshops, whether it's live workshops, in-person workshops, online workshops, and you say, hey, I want to learn more about whatever is going on about X, Y, and Z, that could also be an option down the line too. So more avenues to do more, depending on what we want to do. So those are things that are possible. So that kind of opens the door to those things. In terms of censorship and what can and can't be said and all kind of stuff, the good thing is now that it is me and I own it, I get to say whatever I want to say, which is great. I don't intend on working for, a larger Wall Street firm that has to censor out all that kind of stuff. So I don't have any plans on doing that. If I were, which again I do not, I know I already have an attorney on how to. If I were, which I do not, I do have an attorney. I have two attorneys. I've been thinking about this for a while. Two attorneys on tap on how to word certain contracts and clauses to make sure that this platform is out of the equation. So they have no control on anything that I do and say here, and it's mine, and they don't have any control over it, which was not the case when I was a child, right? Meaning, when I was first starting this, and they had a lot of control. But there's a reason why you don't see any videos from 2014 or 2015 or 2016 or any point back then when I had a license, because of that reason, right? They would not allow you to say certain things. So I want to make sure that that's going to be protected, which is why I have those attorneys on tap for that. So that's kind of already carved out. So I've already, been working in the background for how things are going to be out there. Above all else, I've built this platform through honesty and transparency. Like I ain't never lied, okay? And if I make a mistake, then I will correct it. Either in the next video, or I'll put something on screen, or even in the comments. Like, hey, you messed up about X, Y, and Z. I'll say, hey, my bad, you're right. Let me just add a line here, or something like that. And that's something that I will be retaining regardless of where I am. And let y'all know, here's what's going on, here's what happened, here was the mistake, if a mistake was even made. And I think that's going to be the thing at the end of the day. Because other than some of the weird rules around what you can and can't do and say, the other part of it was I didn't get to help the people that I wanted to help as the first round, right? I got to a point with the companies I was working with that I've said this many times before, you can only help people at the company I was with, right? Before I learned about independence and all kind of stuff, that had 250,000 and up. So when I would go to my college homecoming or a family reunion or something like that, and somebody really needed help, there was no way I could actually help them, right? I went to my son's, picked up my son last year, and the gym teacher came up and said, hey, I've got some stuff in my retirement, all this kind of stuff, and, wasn't licensed at that time, like, you should probably do this, this, and this, but I didn't have any, tech platform to help him out, wasn't licensed, I really couldn't do anything. There was nothing I could do. And I always want to be able to be in a position to help people. If you've got $10,000, if you've got your first $1,000, I still want to be able to say, hey, let's get you your first investing account, get you your first index fund, and get you from the first 1,000 to the first 1,500 to the first X, Y, and Z. That's what I want to do. And I may not like sitting down and taking an exam. I did not like studying, but if it helps me get one step closer to helping more people beyond doing these videos, which have helped thousands of people, then that's going to have to be the next step. And it's always been a path, it's been a step, but I was forced into it. And it might have been just an opportunity in disguise. For example, like you guys see all these books, some of them are study books. For example, this, it's got dust on it, how old it is a certificate from, I don't know if y'all can really see that because of the light, from Northwestern University. It is a Northwestern School of Professional Studies certifies that me, Kevin Matthews, has completed the certification program. It's really hard to see, from the Certified Financial Planner program. So I do not have the CFP yet. I had to sit down and take that exam too. I don't know when I'm gonna take that one. But I sat down and did the whole course for that too. And that was like 2017 or so. So that's another exam I can go down and sit and take. It won't be this year. I'm telling you right now, it won't be. But in the case, like, these are things that I do to kind of get me ready for whatever the next step is going to be. But my thing is I want to be helpful. I want to help people. And help whoever I want to help. I don't want people to just pigeonhole me. You can only help people at the top. Okay, so that is what happened. That is what's going on in the background. I do have one more announcement that I can't make yet. We'll see when and if I can make that announcement coming soon, and that will absolutely be a positive one. I think this one is a positive one too. But again, I want to be honest and transparent and let you know how we got to this decision and what was happening in between and why I've been stressed this last few months as well. So that's what's been going on. If you want to know what else has been going on in the stock market, then you want to check out this video right here.